Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here is 8 things we hate about our van.
We're Alan and Sadge, and we live full-time in our converted van Apollo. We're road tripping our way through Europe, discovering what van life on the continent has to offer. So our van Apollo is a Citroen Relay 2012 long wheelbase. Not extra long, not short, long wheelbase van. She lived in Scotland all her life. She was a plumber's van, and now we've turned her into our tiny home on wheels.
In fact, she's quite big.
She is a big girl, isn't she?
She's a big lass.
Yeah. Hi everyone, come and look inside at our conversion. So lots of different options when you're converting a van. We decided to go for this sort of Scandinavian style with the wood. We really like the white, it's really nice and open. She's fully off grid, so we've got a really great solar setup. We're really loving our fridge. We've got a nice bed, it all works perfectly for us, but there are 8 things that we kind of hate about Apollo.
So hopefully this video will be useful for any of you who are thinking of converting a van yourself, or maybe you're going to buy one. Certain things to look out for. Keep watching till the end because the big one is definitely the last one.
So, number 1 is Apollo's lack of aircon. We spent many months travelling through Europe in the height of summer. At points it was 35, 36 degrees, especially when we were driving across Spain. And it was absolutely boiling. We were in our little vest tops, just sort of dying of heat as we drive through. So if we did another van conversion, then aircon is definitely something that we would prioritise.
Number 2 on the things I hate about our van, lack of reversing camera. Apollo here has no reversing camera at all. Didn't get one fitted. Thought it would be fine. Really regret it now. Thought Sadge would be fine to just nip out, check there's nothing behind, reverse nice and carefully. All well and good until you're in a car park in Croatia and you have a little bump. It wasn't good. Everything's fine, sorted it, not a problem, but it was quite stressful. The reversing camera wouldn't have been that expensive. The real trouble now is that we can't really fit one very easily without getting behind all the cladding, which is not as simple as it sounds. So unfortunately, retrofitting one at this stage, not so good. So if you're thinking about getting a reversing camera, do.
So number 3 about the things we hate about Apollo is this swivel seat. We really wish we had captain seats like you get in motorhomes. They've got one seat here, one seat here, really comfy, swivel them round easily. They kind of look like they kind of lay back, super nice. This is completely upright, which means you have good posture, but I wouldn't exactly say it's relaxing. And yeah, it takes forever. So we literally never ever have it this way around. So it was a bit of a pointless waste of money. We never really use it, and it would just be lovely to have two captain seats, not only for the driver, but also for the passenger as well. Yeah, it's something that if we did again, we would definitely change.
Number 4 is the garage. It's really disorganised. There's so much stuff in here. Obviously, if you're doing a van build, what you can do is you can compartmentalise everything, and you can have you know, everything in its place with some proper storage under here. All we've got is you've got your fixed bed at the top, and then you've just got a big hole. So we've tried to fill it with things like this trunk, which has got wheels on it that you can pull out. We've got some bags and stuff, and like everything is, there is a system, but if I want to get something out from the bottom of this, it basically means I've got to pull everything out the van, and it turns into a massive hassle. So we've got the Bluetti power bank here, great for some extra storage. Made this little bracket to kind of hold it in place. I think that's going to be okay. Obviously you've got our normal batteries here, which run all the way down. A lot of the electronics are right at the back there. And then coming forward here, you've got the shower in the corner here, so that just pulls out there, and it actually slots onto the back door. But you cannot get away from the fact that the garage is cluttered, and I hate it. Let's do an example. Sadge, name something to get out.
Could you, well, let's just imagine we've pulled up to a lovely little air.
Nice.
I would like my chair out, please, to sit on the garden.
Oh God, really?
Just my chair, that's all I want out.
Okay.
I don't like that chair though, that's your chair.
That's not her chair, that's my chair.
Uh-oh. That's the shower thing we stand on.
This is more shoes, believe it or not.
I think we all know your shoe addiction by now.
Okay, so that's not that bad.
I think that's quite bad.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If however you wanted something a little bit more complicated, like say a winter jacket, that's in a suitcase, and that suitcase is all the way at the back, which means all of this is coming out first. That's a good 10 minutes of labour. And also people look at you like you're a right idiot if you've pulled up to a nice little camping spot and you're like, just get my winter jacket out. You basically have to unload an entire van's worth of detritus onto the ground before you can then move on with your life. So yeah, someone build me a new garage, please. Number 5 on things we really hate about our van is the table. It's a right faff to put up. Let me show you.
So on the one hand, we wouldn't be without it. We use it all the time for working and for eating, but it is massive. We had all these ideas when we were planning the van build, that we would sort of sit side by side and work. That never happens for various reasons, partly due to power and partly because I like my standing desk on the bed. So when it's up, the van just feels like a completely different space. It's just so tricky to do anything with it. So I'll give you an example of if you want to get to the fridge. So I'm doing some cooking here and I just quite like to get to the fridge, but I can't go back anywhere, so I've got to go all the way around, down on my hands and knees and sort of scoot under. It's an under scooting thing. But it's a faff.
It's just a bit too big, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Also, what I would say, solid oak sounds really nice. It's quite heavy though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really heavy.
Yeah.
Number 6 on our list is this Flammer fan. We have a Max Air fan over there, which is amazing, but this fan, while cheaper, is just a poor imitation of the joy that is on Max Air fan. You can open it a bit, but any actual fan noise is just, listen.
Very, very loud.
It's incredibly loud. You can't think with it on, you can't eat with it on or read with it on. There's no way you could sleep with it on. It's good for a vent, just to be able to open it, and it's got the bug screen here, so that's fine, but as an actual fan it doesn't work at all.
Do you think we should have had 2 Max Air fans?
Yes, but that's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the trouble.
This is much cheaper.
Maybe just a nice vent then.
Yeah, just a vent would have been good.
Yeah, like a bigger vent I think would be nice.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, spend the money on the Max Air fan.
Yeah.
Number 7, this blind. I shall demonstrate. It's just a standard blind that you'd have in the kitchen. It's rolled too tightly basically, and there's not enough wood behind the frame, so this gets stuck. So you have to pull that down to release it, which we didn't work out for about 3 months. And then you can just have it come down as normal. And that seems okay. But this bracket breaks continuously, so it constantly comes off the sprocket. The real trouble with it is you can't get up to there to fit a new blind very easily, so I would like to change the blind for something nicer and something that goes up and down much more smoothly. But you can't, because you just can't get up there with tools. It's a nightmare. It probably would be doable, but it would just be a right load of hassle. So yeah, I hate this blind.
Yeah, and that's it.
And then it stops.
Yeah.
But it can go all the way up, but it gets stuck because it's tight. So yeah, it gets stuck like this, and then if you want to get it all the way back up, you have to sort of launch yourself at it, and then it will go.
Running the risk that the entire thing will actually fall down if you do that.
Oh yeah, when we first started living in the van, this used to fall off. The whole bracket used to fall off about once a day, and it's really hard to get it back up there because it's got like a little bracket that you can't get to. It's just really annoying. In fact, I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Horrified. The trauma.
Number 8 though, the absolute worst thing, the thing we hate the most about the van, is this little guy. We've got a 65 litre water tank. We've got a 15 litre grey tank that sits in the kitchen. It's not a good idea. ideally you want your grey tank to be a similar size to your freshwater tank. The problem with having it in the kitchen too is that when it fills up, it overflows and floods into the kitchen, and it's really, really easy to forget. So if you've got two tanks that are the same size, you can't ever really overfill it because you've only got that amount of water, so you couldn't put too much into it. This, however, yeah, we've overfilled it multiple times now. So it's smelly, it gets very mouldy, it's really hard to clean inside. And if you had like a normal, like an underslung tank, you could just have a little thing there, just twizzle it, and all the water would come out. With this, you've literally got to carry it out of the van, sloshing it about everywhere, and pour it down the drain physically, which is just a pain to have to do. It wouldn't have been that hard to fit one. It would have cost a little bit more money, but I think it would have been well worth it. And I really wish we'd got one, because I really hate this little thing. It's disgusting.
Well, that's it everyone. That's our 8 things that we hate about our van Apollo. If you've enjoyed this video, if you got some value out of it, feel free to give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button.
Drop us a little comment below about the things you hate about your van. I'd be really interested to hear if we share the same hates and the same mistakes. If not, we'll see you next week.
Yes, I!